Hey YouTube, uh, just wanted to do a quick video series. Previously I put out a video regarding COVID-19 and whether or not it was a hoax and what kind of my stance on it was. And I wanted to update. It's been almost a year and a half since the beginning of COVID, and my wife and I have finally contracted the virus a couple days ago. So what I want to do with this video series is document on a daily basis kind of my experience in particular and some of her experiences, and update you guys daily. I'll put a link to the previous video up here in the corner. I'm going to start off by saying my views from that video really haven't changed a whole lot. I still believe that we're not being told everything. Still believe there's a lot of misinformation out there, and that people need to make their own informed decisions based on the guidance of their medical professionals. That's what my wife and I have done through this whole situation. We know a lot of people in the medical field, and they're people that we trust. They're people that we know outside of the medical world also. We know the caliber of people that they are, and we trust their opinions and their inputs on things. So that's ultimately gotten us to where we're at. So at current, I'm 2 days in, a day and a half-ish, into having COVID. I have not been tested. The reason I have not been tested is my wife tested positive, and my symptoms have pretty well mirrored hers identically, with about a 24-hour delay from onset. So we both determined that there's really no need for me to go get tested. I mean, if she's positive and my symptoms are mirroring hers, it's pretty well as infectious as the new D variant is. I think it's a safe assumption to assume. So, with that, day one for me was basically the onset of a mild cold, is what I would equate it to. Had some minor head congestion, off and on headaches, which were very easy to get rid of. They seemed to respond very well to Tylenol and ibuprofen, quicker than a normal headache would be for me, which struck me as a little odd. And that was pretty much it for day one. Day two, we started the zinc, vitamin D, and vitamin C regimen. It had kind of an interesting experience, though. There was an onset of a mental fog. For about 6 hours, it was very difficult for me to concentrate. It was very difficult for me to construct a cohesive sentence when speaking or typing or writing. This was pointed out by multiple people that I spoke to throughout the day, over the phone and in written communications. They just said I didn't sound coherent, and I agreed with them. And trying to explain that during while it was happening was very difficult, because I had to try to think a lot harder about the words that I was trying to put together and the points that I was trying to get across to people. I'm normally a pretty well-spoken person, and I struggled with it. It was as though I had forgotten my vocabulary. I'd forgotten what words mean when they're put together in a sentence or thought, and I struggled greatly. After that wore off, it was basically the same cold-like symptoms. Got some head congestion, some nose congestion. You can probably hear in my voice I sound congested. And that's pretty much been it. Like I said, I've had a couple headaches on and off. Energy levels are interesting. They'll kind of have spikes and dips throughout the day, where I feel like I've got energy to go and do something or be productive, and then get into it, and a couple minutes in, it's just like the bottom falls out and there's no energy. It's like, where did it go, man? And 10 minutes ago I felt like I could move the world, and now I feel like I can barely move. And it's not a pain or a soreness or anything. It's just a lack of uh, physical energy, to move muscles and things like that. It's not a mental thing, because it's driving me up the wall, not being able to be as active as I normally am, and do some of the things I'm normally able to do. So it's very frustrating. I would definitely say it's very frustrating. With that, we are both attempting to be active. We're attempting to, within our home, not in public. We are quarantining, but we are attempting to be active and do the things that we need to do around our house, and not just sit around and kind of be lazy and rest. Now, with that being said, I mean, we don't know. We have the just kind of evidence from people that we know that have contracted the virus, and the way theirs have gone based on their situations and stuff like that. And from what we've seen, the people that do maintain a relatively normal household function as far as activity levels and things of that nature, typically fare slightly better. There's no scientific data to back that up, I don't think. But so that's what we're attempting to do. So with that, a little bit of background about myself. I'm in my mid-30s. I have no known comorbidities. I'm a relatively healthy person, and don't consider myself to be high risk for COVID or severe COVID cases. But as I said, I just want to do some quick videos every day, just kind of recapping the day, what my experiences were, and just discussing. That way people can know what to expect. I know going into it, I'd heard so many different things, I didn't really know what to expect. And granted, I'm only 2 days in at this point, and I still don't know what to expect. It can be fearful, but I'd like to paint a picture for other people that haven't experienced it yet, in order to help ease their mind and potentially shed some light on what it's like to be affected personally. As far as treatment goes, the only thing we're doing is we are taking our doses of zinc, vitamin D, and vitamin C. We are also making sure to ingest appropriate amounts of electrolytes through many, many different sources. There's plenty of research out there on how to get electrolytes and which ones you need and which ones you don't need and all that. So I'm not going to cover what we're using. And then the final item is we have elected, my wife and I, based on some research and input from some people that we know that have utilized it. And anyway, this the effectiveness or the success of it is still debatable. However, we felt it's low enough risk. We have elected to attempt ivermectin therapy. I'm not going to go into doses or anything like that, or schedules or any of that, and I'm in no way recommending anybody try it. This is just what we believe to be right for us, based on the research that we have done. So also, unfortunately, we don't have a baseline to compare to, because we're both currently undergoing that therapy. However, we will be able to speak to whether or not we feel like, is it actually doing anything, or is it kind of snake oil, or whatever the case may be. So I'll talk to you guys at the end of the day tomorrow. Have a good one.